This is Allan Feldman from the Laguna Woods Democratic Club. Thank you for being with us today. This is another segment of our program, Black in Laguna Woods. Now, if you saw the program last month, you know that we did something a little different last month. We showed a video of 10 Black women inventors. And the thing that was interesting to me, I mean, these women invented all sorts of things. We have a woman who invented an improved ironing board, another woman who did a chair that was different, and one woman who was involved, very much involved in the development of eye laser surgery and cures for blindness. And the thing was, we knew hardly anything about any of these people. So, you know, that's, I don't know, it's some kind of comment. I'm not quite sure what, but we didn't know anything about them. Most of us probably never even heard our names. And I want to thank Sharon Phillips for being, so active, and she was the one who was here discussing that. But this week we're going back to our more normal format. We have two people with us today who are Laguna Woods residents, and they are going to talk to us. They're going to tell us about their opinions, their feelings, their experience about what it's like to be Black, what it's like to be African American, to be Black here in Laguna Woods. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves first. And the first one I'm going to ask is Edith, if you would be kind enough just to tell us who you are and just a little bit about yourself.
I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me?
You're not coming clear.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Edith, if you'd be kind enough just to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm Edith Jones, and I've been a resident here since 1997. I came as a snowbird, and I didn't really like it. I just wanted to go back to Ohio. I wanted the snow. I came out in December. I'm missing the snow, and I stayed to spring. I'm missing my flowers, and I said, I'm going home, and I'm not liking it. I had rented the place I live in now, and it was not very good. And they said, well, the people who rented said, it's good enough for you, like, what do you expect? But the business, so while my son and daughter-in-law wanted me to be near because of the grandson, gotta be near those grandchildren. So anyway, that's why I was here. But the place was in such bad shape. I said, I'm not going to live here. But I looked around to see if I could find something. Yes, I had the experience of a realtor who showed me what she thought I could afford. I said, I want to see what's here. I'm deciding to move. So I got a different realtor, and he said, I'll show you anything. Even gate 11, I saw all over the place. But I still went home. But I came back in August. And that's when I met Clara. She had moved here while I was gone. So we met. And we didn't see many Black people, only, 6 when I was renting here. When I came back, there was 7. Clara was here.
Let's hold on to that for a minute, because we're going to get into that.
Okay.
Do you call yourself Claire or Clara?
Clara.
Clara. Okay. So Clara, I want you to do the same thing if you please. Just tell people who you are and just a little bit about yourself. And then we're going to get into some things that Edith brought up right away.
Okay, as Edith told you, I moved here in 1997, was it? 97. Opposite Edith, I came here because of the snow. I come from New York. New York has one season. It's snow and ice in the winter. It's high humidity in the summer. When it's 102 in the daytime, it's 102 at night. There is no spring. That just that's disappeared someplace. So the only good season we have in New York is fall. My garage was behind the house. I had to shovel in the winter with the snow. I had to shovel out the whole driveway from the garage down to the curb. and then I had to shovel out the curb. So I go to work and I come home and the snow plows have come and
put it all back.
Back up on the curb, which means I have to shovel myself back in. So Edith, I don't miss the snow.
You don't miss the snow. I did miss the snow.
So when I met this real estate person, she just showed me houses. She was not concerned about my race. All she wanted to do was sell a house. And that's what she did.
Have you lived in the same house here in Laguna Woods since 1999?
No, when I moved here, I moved over to gate 4. That's the gate you can go out, but you can't come in. And I figured, well, I'm retired. This is the last house I'm going to live in. I might as well fix it up. So I renovated the house, made it just the way I wanted it. Very happy. Hated the carport. I hated the carport. They would come through with their blowers and throw dirt on the car. My car had always been garage, so I never had to worry about that. And the trucks, or whatever they were, heavy buses or something, would go by and my alarm would go off. So all day, all night, I'm out there clicking off my alarm. I couldn't stand that carport. So I came looking over here, gate 9, and I saw this house. And I've been here since '01 in this house.
Okay, all right. So you both, you'll notice, anybody watching will certainly notice that both Edith and Clara are long-term residents of Laguna Woods. I'm saying both people watching will see that both you and Edith are long-term residents of Laguna Woods. And that's really the perspective we're going to take a look at today. The idea is people, the changes that have been made in Laguna Woods that you've seen. I want to start, like Edith really started a few thoughts in my mind off that I'd like to pick up on. And the first one was that when first moved here, there were, I think you said 6 Black people here in Laguna Woods Village.
That I met.
Yeah, that you met. So, maybe there were 6 more someplace else.
Someplace, I didn't find them.
But it's striking me there. So, it's a perfect reflection of Orange County, really. Orange County is such a strange place. It's a actual majority minority county, as they call it. 56% of the people who live in Orange County identify themselves as not white, but less than 3% identify themselves as African American. So there's a lot of Asian Americans, there's a lot of Iranians, we used to call Persians, we used to call them Iranians, they call themselves Persians. A lot of people from all various countries in Asia, but very, very few African Americans. And that's the first question I'll ask. And Clara, let me start with you, and then I'll go back to Edith on this. When you moved here, and there were so few people, African American people there, did you feel isolated? Did you? Was it something that you missed? Some people from your same, say, background. People come from all different backgrounds, but your same cultural background. We talk to people that have come from our same cultural background sometimes, and we just feel like there's a whole layer of things we know about them that we don't know about everybody else, and we move on from that base onward. But it seems to me that with like 6 people here that of your same cultural background, that wouldn't be the case here. So let me ask you, that's just what I think. I don't know if it's true or not. Is it true? Did you feel isolated?
Well, I'm going to answer your question a little different. I was very, very fortunate when I moved here. It was called Leisure World in those days. And I can't remember the exact name, but it was sort of a welcome to Leisure World up at Clubhouse 5, where they had all the clubs and organizations. They had booths.
I remember that.
You remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, and they were inviting you to go around and join. So the only thing I can tell you is, as I went from table to table and saw something that saw a club, organization that I was interested in, I went over to the table. Now, if I was welcomed, I signed up and joined. If I was not welcomed, I moved on because I'm not interested in darkening, let's say, their organization if they didn't want it. And that's the way I got to know Leisure World.
Yeah, yeah.
And once I joined something and I was in the midst of people, I didn't worry about what color or race or whatever they were. I just wanted to be involved. You have to remember that Edith had family in this neighborhood. I did not know anybody in California.
Nobody.
So, I just wanted, I couldn't sit in the house by myself. I wanted to get out and join things.
So you moved here kind of cold turkey.
What did you say?
I said you moved here kind of cold turkey. Yeah.
Yes,
the weather's nice.
Exactly right, cold turkey.
And let me go to Edith on that same situation. And it's true that your situation was a little different than Clara's in that you had family here, but you still it's still a place that you moved to, and there was so few besides your family. Family is your family, but there's only 6 people you said that you knew. Did you feel that it was isolating at all?
No, because I got involved right away. I was in orchestra, and I took my violin and I just walked in. Musicians are always welcome. Couldn't play the orchestra, but I took music lessons, and then I met Clara. We got involved with square dancing. She was on her way, and she said, "Where are you going?" She said, "Square dancing." I said, "Okay, I'll go." So I got involved with square dancing, and then I had gotten used to white people because I lived in a condo in the only one there. So I was on the board. So I was used to it. I got used to it. But, and I was in a dance group. So I ended up with clogging, and I ended up teaching. I still teach the class if we open up again. So I was in the orchestra, I was in the square dancing, I was in clogging, I took belly dancing, then I got involved with the emeritus classes. They weren't called emeritus classes there. So I met a lot of people there. I didn't have a car, so I rode the bus. So I met people on the bus, and I could walk to the supermarket. I could walk to the mall. To me, it was ideal, it was nice. So I met a lot of people, all my neighbors. Now I'm the oldest person, only person in the cul-de-sac that was here when I came. So that's a little different. And then we met other Black ladies, and we would go to lunch or dinner. So we still do that, but it's a lot more. And that's how I knew Allan from our birthday group. So I'm okay now. And I took the acting class, and Clara is very active, was at the time in the theater. So I met those people, and through the classes, the string band, we played country music, and we did the shows, and just part of it,
I think maybe that's the secret to success.
But I wanted to mention, when I live on the corner of Seville and Castilla, and this gate 1, when I came, they take you on a little trip around. What do they?
Yes.
Welcome new member.
Right. Yeah. Tour. New members tour.
I went with that, and the gentleman said to me, "Please come and join. You'll be welcome here. It's a nice place to live." But he wasn't part of the committee. He was just somebody in the wood shop. And then I met people in the sewing room, and I like that. You see my quilt? That's my pandemic quilt. I worked on that while we were. So I joined those classes, so had that. But in gate 1, this gentleman said, this place is 95% Jewish, but it's a well-kept secret. And I used to watch them walk past my house on Saturday morning to temple. It was a large group, and the group got smaller and smaller and smaller. So it was down to one person walking past. Now I haven't seen any for a number of years now. So my whole neighborhood has changed.
Yeah, I think that there's different ethnicities that moved in, different move in and move out. There's certainly a lot of whatever you want to call it, Middle Eastern, Persian, Iranian people.
Now,
a lot of Asian people, a lot of all from everywhere, Taiwan, Vietnam, Korea. So I think that's a big change. That's something I'd like to get into here for a few minutes. Let me start with you, Clara. What do you consider? What are some of the biggest changes you've seen around here in Laguna Woods since you moved in 1998, 1999?
I know you're centering on people, but the changes I've seen is in the leadership of this Laguna Woods Village. They got rid of the PCM because I heard they was skimming off the top. So now they have this one called Village Management or something?
Yeah, VMS, Village Management.
Yeah. And these people are in love with weeds. The landscaping is terrible. It's not the same way it was. And they call weeding. I complained so badly about it, they sent a man over here to weed. He managed to say, I said, there's a weed. No, that's not a weed. He managed to miss the weeds. They sent somebody who didn't know what a weed was. Okay, so I complained about that. And just last week, they got a man who knew what a weed was, and he got rid of it. I'm really, really very unhappy with these VM people.
So you're seeing a kind of a deterioration in the physical services that from what it was when you first moved in. The physical plant itself is not, the upkeep on it is not the same as it used to be. There's been a deterioration. I'm
sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I'm saying that you feel that there's been a deterioration in the upkeep of the
exactly
physical plant.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The people are fine. There's no problem.
Yeah. How about you, Edith?
I understand that. Well, my address is 3. I was the 3rd building, so we're very old here. Always something happening, and they've torn out my bathroom. They've torn out, trying to fix things. But the biggest thing I'm upset with them is my utility bill. My electric bill is over $100, $120, $150. Surely, I've talked to Edison. They've been in and then said the meter is fine. But the first thing they told me, it's your refrigerator. You do for a refrigerator. It's over 20 years. But the pandemic, we're not going to deliver refrigerators. So for the last year, I paid over $100 for electricity when my aim is $50. So we had a block party, and I found out another lady in the same building, the man is $29, one is $30, and the two of us, the Afghanistan lady and me, we're paying over $100. But they said, we've been out there, we checked everything, we're not going to do any more. So finally, they delivered the refrigerator 2 weeks ago. Bill's already down.
Really?
So what's going on that they don't care? And Edison said they have no investment, they get nothing, so why should they bother to fix it? Yeah. So anyway, I'm paying, the last bill was $62. And my neighbor, he says it's $19. That's about average. Yeah. So
Well, how about the people here? Have you noticed a difference in the people? Clara was kind of talking. Let me ask Edith first, and I'll go back to you. Clara was kind of talking about it. The parade of Jewish people going to temple when she first moved in, and how it just diminished over time. How about yourself? Have you noticed a difference in the people? It doesn't have to be difference in ethnicity, just a difference in their attitude or anything?
Oh yeah, we get a lot of, my clogging class is all Asian.
Uh-huh.
All Asian. Yeah. One American. All the others are Asian, So that's different.
How about people's attitudes? Have you noticed any difference in people's attitudes? Are they kind of more accepting of other people or less accepting, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, maybe it's the people I hang out with, but I don't see any problem. Before, yeah, I had an incident. I was supposed to be on a panel. I was invited to be on a panel at the Friday night Jewish group that meets on Friday night. And I was going to be on a panel to discuss The Color of Water, the book. You heard of The Color of Water?
Yes.
They wanted me to the panel. And there were ladies who walked out. She said, "Oh, won't listen." So there was another Jewish lady. She said, "I've never really one-on-one spoken to a non-white person." So she invited me to dinner so she could talk with me. And she said she'd never done it. She'd seen them. I don't know where she's from, the East Coast, not many Black people there. So that was a rare experience. And then I met another lady in Theater Guild, one of the classes. She needed a magazine and I had it, I gave it to her. She said, "Why are you being nice to me? Why would you do that for me?" She said when she was a little girl, her father punished her for playing with a Black kid. So she kept that attitude all the way till she's here. And a Black person gives her a magazine. And she said it's just new for her. But I had to get used to it. So I would be okay.
Well, yeah, we're running down on our time here. So I think this is probably going to be the last thing I'm going to ask you. I'm going to start with you, Clara. And again, it's about changes. What changes, if they appointed you emperor or empress today, in charge of the whole place, what are the kinds of changes that you would like to see made here in Laguna Woods? And that could include bringing back PNC.
No, I don't want to bring him back. I just want to bring in a different management system. Somebody who's not going to skim off the top, and somebody who's going to look at the place and see that the landscaping is horrendous. But to go backwards, I was the honoree of the month here in Laguna Woods Village in June 2011. And it was a beautiful thing. They had food there, and they had the various people that I had worked with to speak in my behalf. My two sons and my son-in-law were there. And I think they don't have that anymore. Mm. And it would be nice to honor people. Now, recently there was a lady honored in the Globe, and she was all written about, and it was wonderful. But they don't do that. They don't have a ceremony for somebody who has thrown themselves into all the organizations and classrooms and gotten involved. I tell you, I was thrilled to be the honoree of the month.
Yeah, I remember that.
Congratulations. And how about you? How about you, Edith? We'll have you close the show here. What changes would you like to see here in Laguna Woods? And again, it could be any kinds of changes: physical changes, changes in people's attitudes, changes in people, whatever you'd like to see.
Well, number one, maintenance. We should really take care of that. I thought they had, but with these older buildings, it's just need to do something. I don't know, but I think we're doing, as far as I've gotten used to it, I've adjusted to it. And, but things have changed. Some of the clubs have changed. And I'm in college club and I'm the only Black person there. I go to a church, there are only 2 Black people there. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I accept it.
Yeah.
So work around it. Mm-hmm.
One, I guess you accept it, try to work through it, try to work beyond it. Just one last quickie before I want to, but it might seem like a foolish question because you've both been here for so long. But just yes or no, do you find Laguna Woods a good place to live? Clara, start with you. Do you find Laguna
Woods? By all means, yes.
Yeah.
I have no complaints.
Yeah. How about you, Edith?
I find it really, to me, a growth experience, a growth. The new people moving in, we just got new neighbors who researched Laguna Woods. It's close to the beach. It has the stables because he has horses. He just said, it was just like, I'm saying, welcome. We had a party for him out in the lawn, a block party, a building party. And they were telling why they came. And it was fit me really well. I find it's great. Coming from Ohio.
And I'm very happy with my neighbors in my cul-de-sac. They're wonderful people. And
I'm with you though, Clara. I moved here because it's cold here is 60 degrees, not 16.
Yeah, I know. 20 below. Oh.
Well, listen, I want to really thank you so much, both of you, very, very much. It's so wonderful to have people participate and just to tell their experiences. And I want to thank specifically Allan Williams, who we all know, who was the person that really, somebody always doing the work behind the scenes on this. And Allan Williams, like Sharon Phillips did it last week. I don't mean to slight anybody. Everybody does a lot of work on it. But Sharon Phillips stood up last week. Allan Williams was the man who stood up this week. And, he made the contact with Edith and Clara, got them, strong-armed them into participating. And we're very, very glad that he did. And really, I can't thank you enough. It's so wonderful to hear people talking about their experiences here in Laguna Woods. It's just, I don't know, it's like we hear about microclimates sometimes where it's cold on one side of the street and hot on the other. And that's, to me, that's what all of Laguna Woods is like. It's totally different on one side of the street than the other. But I want to thank you for sharing your experiences. And one thing that I always try to say at the end of the show before we all go bye-bye is that people are telling you their truth. Just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It happened to somebody else. You need to listen to their truth, and you need to see where they're coming from. And I think we'd all be in a lot better place. We'd all be in a lot smoother and happier world. But in any event, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Edith and Clara. Again, I can't thank you enough for participating. And we will be seeing you all shortly.
And I thank you, Allan, and I thank Allan Williams.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome on my part, and I'll speak for him and tell you you're quite welcome on his part too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.